Okay, welcome one and all. So this is the first mini lecture for our asynchronous learning today. So we're looking at how to writing strong analysis paragraphs. So when we consider this idea, we have to think about clarifying our topic. You also need to cite your work or cite your support. And then finally, you're going to really focus on adding your own insights, your own findings, your own um, this is where the thinking process comes in. So, what did you take out of the thing that you're reading, whether it's a poem or a short story or a novel? We're going to have to write analysis paragraphs about all of those different forms of literature. So, this is really a chance to lay down a strong foundation for how we can do that. Okay, so every paragraph, of course, should follow a plan. We talk about strong paragraph structure. We need to start with a topic sentence, of course. And for this type of analysis paragraph that we're doing on poems, you want to make sure that you include the name of the author, perhaps the title of the poem, plus you also want to include the big thing that you noticed, the big finding that you noticed when you read that piece of work. All of that should be clearly stated within your topic sentence. Now, after the topic sentence, it's your job to provide proof, to provide evidence of what you found. So remember, from the very first week of our learning, I mentioned that I'm a skill-based teacher, but I'm also an evidence-based teacher. So we want you to be able to prove what you're putting forward as your position. So after you've done your topic sentence, you're going to go into what we call our first supporting idea. Now, I call the writing form that I like for these paragraphs triads. In fact, we call them triads of support. So your first supporting idea would be called triad 1, second supporting idea triad 2, third supporting idea triad 3. And as you can guess, triad comes from the number 3, right? So we're gonna find out very quickly that this is a 3-sentence chunk that we write together as a unit. And you will need to have between 2 to 4 supporting ideas. One of my good friends, who is a teacher, likes to provide a visual image for what a solid paragraph is. And he says that the topic sentence is like the roof of your house. So we're comparing a strong analysis sentence or a strong analysis paragraph, sorry, to the image of a house. Topic sentence is the roof. Your triads are the walls, right? So you need at least 2 walls to hold up your roof, preferably 3. 3 is the normal format. Some students really like to hammer it down, so they'll do 4. So then within each of these triads, you do need to have a citation from the original work that is your proof. Now, of course, as we learned earlier this week about citations, we're still going to paraphrase the content into your own words, which is crucial. So that paraphrasing component is something we're going to continue working on. So then after you've got your paraphrase citation, you're going to add your analysis. And your analysis is always going to focus on the relevance of the idea, what it means to you. And these analysis sentences are what I call the real gold. This is what we're actually after. You showing me that you can look at the work, read it, understand it, paraphrase it, and then talk about it, comment on it, analyze it essentially. All sentences, of course, we want them to be in your words. And when we go forward with this structure, you're going to complete each of these paragraphs with a wrap-up sentence. They start with phrases like finally, or ultimately, or in the end, or this clearly demonstrated the following facts, and then you could have a list. But you want to have a little marker there to tell us that we've come to the end of the paragraph. And so that brings us to our next point, which is the fact that we want to use transitions powerfully to glue all of our ideas together. So we might even see some transitions within the main section, the supporting section. So we go topic sentence, triad 1, transition, triad 2, transition, triad 3, and then wrap up sentence. That would be a really strong paragraph structure. So let's talk a little bit more about this new idea. What is a triad of support? So essentially, as I kind of hinted on the last slide, triads are each going to be 3 sentences long. So here's what it boils down to. We've got an idea sentence that kind of introduces the first concept you want to talk about. Then you're going to add a citation sentence. This is paraphrased, and it's also providing evidence from the original work that we're reading. Then we add our analysis sentence in the important third position. Now we've set up the idea, we've proved the idea, and then we want to talk about the relevance of the idea or the connection to a wider theme. It could be, if we're talking about one of Blake's poems, you might have noticed a connection to religion, or you might have noticed this kind of questioning intelligence of the writer. This might be your main focus. So when we use this type of unit of 3, it really creates an academic voice, and that's powerful because that's the pattern that most of the professors up the hill at our university want to read. They want to hear this academic structure. They want to see this academic structure. Idea, citation, analysis. Transition, go again. Now, I do want to mention one slight addition here is that we can actually expand any one of the sections. So like if your citation, if you needed 2 sentences to pull off the citation portion of your triad, that's fine. If you need 2 sentences to complete the analysis section of your triad, that's fine as well. Usually the idea portion will be a single sentence, but if you're dealing with a really complex idea, you might need to define it a little bit before you provide your support, your evidence from the work. So any of the 3 sections, right, the idea section, the citation section, or the analysis section, you can actually expand them as long as you're still following the overall structure of the triad. So we really encourage you to practice this structure, and hopefully it will allow you to excel in your writing. Okay, so let's take a quick look at what an example triad might look like. So here we go. We can see that we've got the idea sentence first. So this is from Tiger Tiger, one of the Blake poems we've been analyzing over the last few classes. So we start with the idea sentence. In his questioning poem, comma, this is a transitional piece here. Notice it's just a prepositional phrase, and it kind of sets up the idea that comes next. So in his questioning poem, Blake continually asked the creator why a creature as merciless as a tiger was created. So that's my idea. I've noticed this kind of questioning pattern within the poem, and so I'm going to talk about that and what it might mean. So then we move into our citation section. This was highlighted by the constant use of the questioning word what, plus a powerful adjective dread. And then I've noted that it's come from Blake's the author, here's the date of publication, and then I've added a range of lines that has this pattern within it. We could go back and be more specific and pull out the actual lines if there's 2 of them that are strong or 3 of them. But I just put a line range because I was preparing this slide presentation quickly. This would also qualify as like my first draft of my paragraph. And we do always want to go back, and then when I'm editing the draft, I might make it a little bit more specific. So now let's move into the analysis section. Clearly, the author was searching to understand the reasoning or morality behind the creative force that formed the killing predator of the jungles. So you can see that it's all related. The 3 ideas kind of work together to really expand on this one idea. Now, again, if I wanted to, I could add another sentence to the analysis if I really had something else of value to say. But overall, we would want to replicate this pattern, this triad pattern, at least 2 times to provide support for our main idea, our main finding, our main insight, which would have been presented in the topic sentence. Okay, so we're going to be practicing these moving forward. Hopefully this shows you clearly what we're looking for.